Okay, so you just opened FL Studio for the first time. You have no idea what's going on. You don't know how to use the program or anything. In this video, I just want to explain how to use the program and just how to navigate your way around it. Just how to use FL Studio, not anything mixing or nothing complicated, just how to use the program. So I'll start with the playlist, and this is the playlist right here. So this is where you're going to be arranging all your ideas and sounds. So say I want to get a sound, and you can access all your sounds in two ways. You have your plugins for synths and samplers and stuff, or you have just WAV and MP3 files that you like to use, mainly for percussion elements and like effects and stuff. So this is my pack, and I have a bunch of folders, a bunch of sample packs that I use. And if you want to import your own, you can download that sample pack. You go to Options, File Settings, click down here, link the folder that you want, and restart FL Studio, and now you have it over here on the left. So say, I'll just go in here, grab a clap, whatever. Drag it in, and now I have a clap. I'll click where I want to play it. I have the metronome on. This button is just turn metronome on and off. So say I want this to repeat for 16 bars, but you don't want to click it a bunch of times. So you have Control and then click, Control C, Control V, drag it wherever you want, and repeat. Keep doing that. So now you have that. So you could do Control Scroll to zoom in, Control Scroll to zoom out, Alt Scroll to make the each track bigger, and scrolling out will make it smaller. And that's gonna be with everything except for the piano roll, where you can use the Control to scroll in and out, but not the Alt. The Alt's gonna do something else, and I'll explain that in the piano roll. Control Z is gonna undo, Control X is gonna cut, Control Z is gonna copy, Control V is gonna paste. These are just basic key things that you'd want to know. So now I'm gonna, I guess, I'll add a piano. So this is the channel rack, and I'm gonna explain this now because it's very quick and easy to use. You can click plus, or you can just replace one of these sounds. Plus, and then I'll use FL Keys. It's a default piano plugin that comes with FL Studio. It's just an A scale. So I'm going to go to pattern 1, and now I can click, and it's there. And I could use this brush tool and just hold down, and it'll make a bunch of those. So now I have two tracks, two things going at once. This is the foundation of your song, the playlist. This is where everything is going to go. All patterns, automation clips, and sounds will go in here. Channel rack is just a collection of all the sounds you have. Samples and synths and whatever. Every sound that you have will be in here, including automation clips too. So say I want to load up a synth. Goes in the channel rack. And you could use this to route them. You can just scroll, and the numbers just mean which mixer channel they are, and that'll link them to a mixer channel. Or instead you can go to the mixer channel and click Control O. And now as you can see, Serum is now routed to mixer channel 1. So I'll explain that in a bit, but now we're going to go to the, let me explain what all these knobs do. So the brush tool, I already explained that. We're just going to have that brush. You hold it down once and it'll, you see. So I can do the Control, click, and then delete to get rid of that. This is, say I want to slice it up, I can do that. Now I can move this down, or I can even drag this out, or put it right here. Just add, some interesting things you could do with that. This is just going to do the selection tool. I don't use it because you can just control and scroll. So yeah, the edit is pretty much the basic. You just click, add something, left click, or left click to add, right click to remove. The zoom you don't really need to worry about. It's just going to zoom in, but you can also use Control Scroll and Alt Scroll, and it has the same function. So it's kind of useless, most of these things in my opinion, but nevertheless they're there. So you have this. It's gonna, wherever you're clicking it, it's gonna play that sound. I find this to be pretty useless as well. These two you don't need to worry about. Or this, you don't need to worry about it either. So that's the playlist. Now I got the piano roll, and say I want to make a chord. So now I can do the control and click to select, and I can move this out to make the chord longer. You just click to add and right click to remove. So right there what I did is I accidentally deleted too much, but it's okay because the Control Z to remove it. Now I have this chord pattern. So we can do some interesting things with this. So I'm going to show you. So what, you don't need to worry about this, or this, or that, or this. You can use the slice tool, I already explained that. The selection tool, I already explained that. The zoom tool, I already explained that, and this. So most of these you don't need to worry about. You could just click space to have it play, and you can make your selection over here to where you want it to start playing. Get rid of that. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the tools in here. So say you recorded something in MIDI and it's not completely on time. It's a little... You hear they're playing at different times. So you want to quantize that. So go to Tools. Quick Quantize will just do that for you. Or if you want to do it more complex, Tools, Quantize, or click Quick Quantize again. Tools, Quantize, and here you'll see a bunch of different little lines, and that's what it's going to quantize to. And you can mess with that with these knobs. So that's pretty simple. You can also Tools, Arpeggiate, and I like this tool. And you can mess around with these knobs, but so Control Z to undo that. What other tools we have? So we can strum. So we can mess around with the time. So that's that. Now what I also can do is I can mess with the velocity. With the randomize tool is the next thing I'm going to go into. So the randomize tool, you can randomize any parameter that you want here. Panning, release, velocity, these three, but I don't really mess around with them. Okay, so let me turn off bipolar and I'll show you what it does. So all the velocity, and velocity is just volume, how hard the note is being hit, and that's just default over here. But if I mess with that, you can see it's going to be randomized over here. And every note in the chord is going to have a different velocity. It's going to be, so some notes will be louder than others because it pretty much just humanizes the piano a little more. So when you're playing a piano, you're not hitting every note exactly the same, hardness, I guess. Like you're not hitting each note, you know what I mean, like the same velocity. So you can mess around with that, but bipolar does, since it's only being randomized up, it's going to be randomized down as well when you click bipolar. And you can do that with panning too. I'll just do it with velocity so now you can hear it. Some notes are louder than others. So I can throw that into the playlist where I want it to be. Sounds a little weird. You can click these to mute and solo out things. When you right click it, it's going to solo things out. Right click again, it's going to unsolo it out and have everything play, or you can just switch their certain things on and off. And you could do that in the mixer channel with these, and you can also do it in the channel rack. So say I want to have this here. I want it to be a different sound. I don't like this piano. Say I want it to be a synth. I click, replace, and I can make it say Nexus. I have this bell. Say I want this chord over here, or this progression. I want it to be a synth, but it's already this bell, and I don't want to change the bell because it's in here. So I can do the Control and select, Control C, copy it. I'm going to delete it. Now I'm going to click up here, select different sound. And I don't want this to be randomized or strummed anymore. So I'm just going to, what can I do? I could quantize it, but they're a little too far apart. No, yeah, the quick quantize isn't going to do it. Let me figure this out. I don't know. Whatever. But I can manually do it. Usually, when you quantize something, it's not like you have one note here and one note out here that you want to be the same. Usually, quantizing is just to fix up your MIDI. So I'm just going to do all this manually. Didn't take that long. I'm not gonna explain what I'm doing here because this is sound design, this tutorial is just for using the program. But I just want to make this sound a little more pretty. So now I have these chords playing. So that's pretty much the piano roll. Now I'm going to go on to the mixer channel. So the mixer channel is where you can add effects to any of your sounds. So I already have this routed to mixer channel 1, the synthesizer. So I'll just rename it. You can right click to rename, change the color, and say these first 3 mixer channels are all synths. I can change the color, and it just makes it more organized and grouped together so you can kind of color code what your sounds are. So the master channel right here is where all your sounds are going to be routed to. As you can see, this little arrow, and it's coming back over here. But say I want to have 2 sounds. I'll have the piano, or the bell, it's a bell now, and the synth. And I want these to have different effects, but also the same effects. And what that means is, say I want to EQ. So what you can do is click on the slot and you can add an effect. I want to EQ. I'll do that for the slow passing. Not really explaining the effects, that's really good. So I'm going to EQ that, but I don't want to EQ the bell the same way, so I can, they're in two different mixer channels, so I can do that differently, but I both want them to have, let's say, side chains. I'll use LFO tool for that. You might not have LFO tool if you just download FL Studio. You'd probably be using gross beat. So now I can Control, Shift, and now I have both of these selected. Right click here, route to this track only, and now they're both routed to this track, and this track is routed to the master channel. Now what's going to happen if, and I can unlink these now, and route them back to the master as they were before. This is what it was before. So what happens if you don't route these only to this channel? You can have this routed to both of these, and it's going to be playing out of this one and being played out of this one, and since they're both routed to the master, it's going to double them, and you don't want that normally. So you want it routed to this track only. Likewise, this one routed to this track only. So they're both going to be going through this effect bus right here. Bus. So so for example, let me take this off of the side chain. Here now it's different. Oops. So that's really the mixer channel. You can add effects, make channel buses. The master is really just for every sound you have. What you put an effect on here is going to do it to all of them. Not add it in here, but it's just going to, the effect, since they're all linked to this. And this is where I'm going to put my mastering plugins, say ozone, or I want to let up span, analyze the frequencies. Those are really what I use when I'm mastering, but yeah, I'm not going to go too much into that. So now you know what these four are. This, you're not going to need to worry about. That's just going to, when you click it, you have your sounds. When you click it again, they're gone. I don't use these three. I don't know what they do, and you'll never really need to know what they do. But let's find out. Okay? I guess you can just select the pattern. Pretty useless, and then this is just the plugin picker, I think. Yeah, this is just the plugin picker, another useless plugin. Because if you want to add a sound, you can just do it here. I find it a lot easier. There's a lot of different ways to do the same thing in FL Studio. What is this? What is this do? Oh, this is just a tempo tapper. But you can also, I didn't even know this was a tempo tapper until I clicked on it. Because you can also right click on the BPM, tap, and there's your tempo tapper. So that's what I had done previously. And you can mess around with that. So now I'm gonna kind of mess around with this. I'm gonna put, leave this a resample. Let's say I want to make the beat go really fast. Okay, that's not what I want to achieve actually. But you see how when I mess with the tempo, the length of this sample is being messed with. And that's going to happen, but what you can do is put this on stretch mode, and now they're not changing. The sound isn't changing at all. And when it's on resample mode and you want to mess with the pitch, like that, it's going to mess with the time. So those two kind of correlate, just to say. Yeah. You see how it's really slow because it's really low in pitch. Or vice versa, it'd be really fast when it's really high in pitch. You can leave that on stretch mode to preserve that. So say a sample is not in time, or you just want to stretch it, you could click this thing, and I could stretch it. And it's going to preserve the pitch, but not the time. So say you wanted to change the pitch, but you don't want to change the time. You can do that here. Only if it's on stretch mode, it's going to work. So that's why I like to leave things on stretch mode. I'm going to explain this interface because you're going to be working with this every time you have a sample like this, a wave sample or an MP3 sample loaded up. You're going to be interacting with this interface. You have your panning knob, left, right click and click reset. Volume and pitch. You have this in knob, which is going to change volume in the beginning, this out, volume at the end. So this is more snappy and short. If I was an FL20, you'd have more knobs here, but I'm using FL12. So you can just mess around with the knobs and see what they do. The pogo, I never used this before, but it sounds a little weird, but you probably won't be using that. The crossfade is just going to have that sample play at the very end. I don't really use this one either, but you could do some cool stuff with it. Trim is just going to trim the sample a little bit. I never use that. Normalize, so say you have a sample, let me hold up one that's, let me get a good sample, because I'm going to need, maybe this. Okay, so I have this. When I click normalize, it didn't do anything, shit. Maybe this, no, this probably won't do anything either. But what that normalize is going to do is that it's just going to make the amplitude higher of your entire sample. It's not going to compress it, but it's just going to increase it in volume. That's how I like to think of it. And you'll see with the GUI, it'll, I'm trying to find, like, you know what, it'll probably normalize with this. See how the amplitude is being messed with, and then now it's a lot louder. You can reverse it, the in-out, like explained. Reverse polarity is pretty much going to flip the, so it's going to flip the wave like that, the sound wave. Explain it better if, no, because most of them are symmetrical, but as you can see, the reverse polarity isn't doing much because for the most part, the wave is symmetrical, which most waves are near symmetrical. Fade stereo and swap stereo. Also, you can hear the difference. So these modes, like I explained, resample is just by default stretch to allow you to stretch samples and preserve the pitch. So that's what the first thing when I drag a sample in is I always set it to stretch. That's what I like to do. Okay, so now I went through the mixer, I went through pretty much everything. What it didn't go through actually, it was how to the snap. So I could set it to, say I wanted to work with triplets. So I can set this snap to 1/3 step, or 1/3 beat, 1/3 beat. So now the snap is at these little grid lines. I can work with triplets now. So as you can see, I can't really get this even on here, so I'm going to hold down Alt and then drag it. And that's kind of Alt, when you hold down Alt, it's going to bypass the snap. And you could take the snap off if you wanted to by just clicking None. And now you can move it freely. Better example like this, it moves smoother. So now, let me turn the effect off here. You can hear it a little better. It's just in triplets. So you can mess with the snap. I like to keep it on line. Now what line is, say, it's going to go by 1, 1, and you can see the little grid lines, 1, 1. But as I zoom in, the grid lines are going to get, different areas. So if I made this a super long pattern, and I'm going to keep scrolling in and out and in, you can see that one line is going to be a lot more than one line here. 2 more, but 1 more. it's going to snap into whatever the line is at. So since the line's out here, you can see what I mean. So that's that. So say now I want to mess with the filter automation, and now I'm going to go through automation clips. So I'm going to go into this synth right here and mess with the EQ. Right click, create automation clip, and you can do that with anything. You can even do that with volume, or you see volume, right click, create automation clip, pitch, create automation clip, the out. No, you can't do that. But you can pretty much do create automation clip with anything. And just a tip, if you're using a plugin where you want to mess with these knobs, that you can't right click and create automation clip because it's technically not FL. This is a VST, a third party plugin. So what you can do is mess with this knob, right, this level, tools, last tweaked, create automation clip, and now it's going to create automation clip of the serum A oscillator volume, which is the level. So now I can mess with this all I want. So now I have, just going to open up the filter. Allow more high frequencies to be let into the mix. You can mess around with this, right click to add another button. So say I want this to play, I want to have a different but slightly similar automation clip. I'm going to click this, make unique, and now it's unique to this one. Whereas if I threw this one here, you can see that both of them are changing. Just because they're the same one, which is the copy, but now this is a unique copy. So I can do this again to make unique. Oops. Do this again to make unique. And I can mess with it even more. You can right click, you can drag these by holding it down with your mouse, or you can right click to set it back to a straight line. And again, left click anywhere to add a little button, little dot, I guess, point. That's automation clips. So now I'm going to go into how to record stuff with FL Studio. Since I'm already recording right now, I'm not actually going to record anything. I'm recording for the video, so I'm not going to record something with FL Studio. But what you're going to do is you're going to, first of all, turn this little thing on in a mixer channel. And then you're going to go on the you need to click your input for the mic. Mine's in 1, yours is probably as well. Or not, I don't know. But I click in 1 for mine, and then this starts well, I can hear myself, it's recording the thing, but not actually recording, if you know what I mean. And then you click this, and then you can choose any of these options, and it will record. It'll give you one measure, and then it will start recording, and then you click it again to stop recording, and then your thing is in there. So recording is pretty simple in FL Studio. That's about it. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments, or yeah, but that's going to be it for this video. So I hope you learned something, and